Welcome to Humanity's Destiny, our second class of this semester. And thank you for your patience as we get this technology all working. We are going to have a very interactive class, as always, today, with a discussion, a little lecture, and we're going to actually jump ahead a bit in terms of the topic because I'm going to seize a moment that just happened yesterday at the World Economic Forum and actually look at a current event today. So if you look at the lineup of topics that we will be exploring this semester, I should really be looking at the future, how to think about the future today, which is something I always enjoy doing. All of these topics are done separately each week, and I'll let the students online see this. So let me just go back because they'll see this on the screen. So we should be doing that, and we should be doing history's lessons, and then the next big thing. But I often will move the topics around week to week, depending on what's happening in the world. And if something is happening in the world that's really, really important, then I'll do the current event. So we're going to look at what happened in Davos in Switzerland yesterday with something that some of you may already know about, but we're going to look at it through the lens of the future and this idea of vision, a vision for the future, which is something that increasingly we're going to be exploring this semester when we look at the different topics. What is your vision for the future? What do you see coming? What would you like to see? What's standing in the way of what might be there in the future? The final assignment that you do in this class at the end of the semester will be your vision for the future. But it will be more limited in some ways, but it will still have that big idea of what are you seeing for humanity in the next century or two? Are you feeling hopeful that we can solve some of our critical universal problems? Are you pessimistic, optimistic, not sure? We touched on this last week, but this is something that increasingly we're going to look at through these different topics because it's building towards that final assignment that's worth 30%, your third assignment. It's due way in week 12 or so. So just want to put you sort of on alert that this idea of what your vision is for humanity is really something you're going to have a chance to think about and reflect on for your final assignment. Okay? Let us first make sure that we can address any questions you might have before we do our onboard, or we might wait till later in the class to do that. But I have to get everybody's names up there by the end of the class so I can track things. For those of you in the Cosmos right now, could you please put your full names into the live chat so I can track that as well. And we have some other things that we have to do around some housekeeping and just general review before we really launch into this extraordinary moment that happened yesterday. Just raise a hand if you're familiar with the Prime Minister's speech yesterday. Prime Minister Mark Carney, the Canadian Prime Minister's speech in Switzerland, Davos, Switzerland. Okay, good. It would be good for me to see many of you not being familiar because then you're going to learn something important today. But for those of you who have, I think you're going to find today's class will give you a chance to go deeper and understand and for you to provide your views and your perspective on do you think that what the Prime Minister said is really so significant or not? Many people are saying it was a very, very important speech around the world, and he received a standing ovation for it, which is not that common at this gathering of business, government, academic, cultural leaders who gather every year in Switzerland at the World Economic Forum. So we need to really understand what exactly happened there, because there is something happening in the world right now that's very, very significant politically, and it's going to play out long into the future in some form. And the Prime Minister talked about that yesterday. Anyways, we'll get to that, okay? So, excellent. Nice to see everybody. And before I take any questions or anything you'd like to bring up immediately at this point, I just want to thank you all for coming in person during this storm. And I wouldn't be surprised if the campus is going to be closed soon because of the storm, which indicates to me that you are all tough. You don't care. You're going to be there. And for all of you in the Cosmos, that's great. We do have in this class, I think it's now, we're just about full at 55 or 56, fully registered. So you can see still that, most of the students are asynchronous in this class. They're watching the recordings later. And so, we want to make sure they have a great class that they can watch and reflect on. Okay, so let's take this slowly. Is there anything that's on your mind that you would like to ask about or bring to the class's attention before we get to the next section and start moving? Anything you'd like to, and watch what I can do fairly quickly is bring the view over there. You can see now, and the microphone, as you know, will be this one. So this is a total workaround that I've been doing so far, but I always think there's opportunity in crisis. The crisis is this system is broken down. I can't use the microphones and the camera in the room. So I've taken this as an opportunity to do something different, and I think this is even better in some ways. So opportunity in crisis. So, okay, everybody, there you are together right now. We can see on YouTube, there we are. So thanks, Elizabeth. She's over there. How about in the Cosmos? I'm going to make something really attractive too. The first student who jumps on their microphone and speaks gets 5 out of 5. Does not go into the live chat, but actually talks. Let's see who's going to do it.
Hi, Professor.
Very good. Who is that student right now?
It's Jordan Brown. How are you doing?
Jordan, you weren't in the morning class, were you?
No.
It's another Jordan that jumped. Interesting. Jordan, just so you know how kind of strange today is. Somebody's looking out for us. This morning, when I did this very same thing in my global leader class, the first person who jumped on their microphone was a Jordan, but it wasn't you.
Oh, wow, interesting. I guess.
So Jordan, something is going on upstairs in the real Cosmos today around Jordan's. Jordan, you now have 5 out of 5, but in order to really hold on to that 5 out of 5 through the whole class, you're going to have to be ready to speak at any time when we ask you something, okay? Meaning,
for sure.
Okay, excellent. So there we go. I may give 5s out to others today who are prepared to jump on their microphones, but we shall see, okay? Jordan, do you have any question or anything you'd like to even say to your fellow students whom you can see now?
Oh, hi, everybody.
Good.
Amazing that you drove through that storm. That was it's too hard for my car right now, but yeah.
Well, anyways, excellent, Jordan. Thank you for doing that. And I'm going to leave the camera over there for a moment. The microphone is good. It stays over here. It's so complicated, but I've got the puck on my stick right now, and I'm feeling like Connor McDavid. Did I mention Connor McDavid last week? Probably. Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure. Are there any students now who don't know who Connor McDavid is? Any of the international students who've never heard of Connor McDavid? And I'm not going to talk about Connor McDavid. He is the most exciting hockey player to watch on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. And once upon a time, the Russians were amazing to watch. I remember the 1972 series when Canada played Russia for the first time in a great series. And to watch them, the Russians, but they don't hold a candle now to Connor McDavid. And he's just beautiful. I'll keep stick handling. Excellent. So any questions here in person? Anything before we move on and get to some serious content and really jump into things? We're good? Anything in the cosmos? Just put it in the live chat. I'm going to come back here and put this up behind me. This is very good. Okay. We need a scribe. That's the first thing we need to do before we get going with anything. So we need somebody to take notes today. They will get their... You didn't do it last week, did you? Excellent. What's your name again? It's Jaden. Jaden, please go over and take the pen. Jaden's getting his 5 right now. Do you know how to move the slides? Okay. We'll do the onboard afterwards, okay? We'll come back. Yep, we'll go right down to those 2 little lines. Excellent. And just to make this look sort of artistic, because I do like art and human imagination and expression, put notes by Jaden. Yeah. Oh, is the pen not over there? Where is it? Okay, I'll give you another one. Is it on the... On the left. On the left? Yeah, good. Oh, so it is there. Excellent. Because sometimes it goes away and sometimes it does get stolen because we're missing. Okay, notes by Jaden. Beautiful. So what we're going to do today after that is put this on the notes. Today's big topic, a current event. Could you write that, Jaden? Today's big topic, a current event. And we're going to really look more closely at just what happened in Davos. One of the things I need to do before we get everything set up is I need a camera person today who will also get 5 out of 5 to ensure that we can get the view of the whole screen this way, which is what that camera would be getting if it were working, so that all of the students online can see the whole screen because they've been asking about that, okay? So right now we have the view of this. We have me standing here, but we don't have that view looking this way with the whole screen. And Fatima, on your laptop or phone, okay? Go for it, okay? 5 out of 5. So we've got our crew. We have our crew. That's what I'm always trying to build in this room, and has a bit of television production, something I used to do a lot of, so it's a lot of fun. Okay, so Fatima will set that angle up, and that way we can always cut to that shot too. Okay, so I'm not going to review. I'm going to start right into this. I want to talk about this event that happened, and then I'd like all of you to get into little teams and also discuss some important questions, and then we're going to take things up. But could anyone try and explain what happened yesterday with Prime Minister Mark Carney's speech in Davos, Switzerland, that really seems to speak in a way to humanity's destiny that is important? Anyone want to try and explain that? I'll help you in a moment, but I just want to see if there's anybody. And if there's anybody in the cosmos that wants to do this, you must jump on your microphone, okay? And you will get your 5 out of 5. So let's see.
Hey, Professor, it's Jordan again.
Excellent, Jordan. Jordan, what program are you in?
I'm in the finance program.
Oh, okay. Well, I look forward to having you as my accountant or VP of finance and something, because you're plugged in. Way to go.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it's not surprising he might jump on his microphone, because in Davos, you get all these financial leaders, all the business leaders around the world with it. So Jordan, what was sort of significant around humanity's destiny yesterday, would you say?
Well, I think specifically with Mark Carney's speech, he sort of talked about how we have to usher in a new world order, like the old world order is pretty much dead. It's gone now. We have to not mourn it, but we have to try and make what we have right now better. We have to maybe be more pragmatic, come up with new alliances, and still live up to our values, but understand that the world is a different place now.
Yeah. Okay. I get that down, Jaden. Anything that pops into your mind, Jaden, you think is important, put it in the notes, okay? So go for it, okay? You don't need us to tell you, but what would you like to write? What do you think should be written? The old world order is done. It's a new world. That's what he said. It's over. It's dead. We're in something new now. Something irreversibly new. The old order is dead. Maybe just add a question mark to that. Maybe it isn't. Maybe they just want us to think it is. But, yeah, sure. Oh, great. Brian's back. Always says, and Ron, terrific. Okay. So, what is that old world order that the Prime Minister was speaking about? Jordan, do you want to try and explain that?
Well, the kind of facade of justice and how after World War II, all these mainly Western countries had come together to ensure that, hey, we are going to make sure the world is okay and safe. The UN was made. Now, with what's happening in the United States is the global superpower. So, what they dictate is essentially what everyone has to follow. Um, Now, Mark Carney, he talked about how middle powers, like countries like Canada, like France, UK, we
Yes.
probably shouldn't try and just placate the US and come up with individual deals. We should all try and work together, become like a superpower combined that can kind of actually negotiate with the US.
Way to go. Did, did any of you get a sense that he's reading from Chat GPT or something? Or
I
did you get a
swear,
feeling
I swear to God, I'm not.
brain at work telling us? Thank you, Jordan. I kind of got the sense that we just got something authentic coming out of a human being's mouth. Is
Oh,
that?
100%. I'm not on ChatGPT.
Yeah, no, that's in this class, ChatGPT is not a bad thing. The abuse of it and the overuse of it is a dumb thing. And you will never find me slamming it, but I will slam the idea that you think it can do all the thinking for you. So finding that sweet spot now is a really hard thing between the machine and the human, the machine and the human. And so I really appreciate that you actually answered us with your brain, your memory, your critical thinking, your knowledge of what's happening in the world, and it all came out of your head, off the top of your head. Excellent.
Oh yeah, I did spend like probably half hour arguing with people online about it, but yeah.
Good stuff. Okay. So, it looks like Fatima, are we in for, you're having trouble with that? Okay, don't worry about it, okay? If any of you online really want the full view of the screen today, we'll get that later, okay? We'll get things set up for that. But for now, let's keep moving on this. I really want to get you set up for your conversation and then our take up. So Jordan's helped us to understand that something has happened, that was an order was in place after the Second World War. And that order now has been irreversibly ruptured, as the Prime Minister said, or even worse, that it is now over. We have to move into something different. Are you aware at all of how important it was that the Prime Minister of Canada gave this speech yesterday? Are you aware that this was one of his most important speeches he's given in his political career? And that, are you aware as well that the attention that he's received for this internationally is significant, very significant? And I need to tell you this because there's something about humanity's destiny today that we all need to explore around this current event. A prime minister of a small country, Canada, with about 40 million, stood up in front of the world yesterday and said that this new world order does not include the United States as a friend anymore. I just want to repeat that. This new world order that he said was that the United States, which was everybody's friend, mostly after the Second World War, and helped to rebuild Europe with what's called the Marshall Plan after the Second World War, helped to win the war by providing the troops and the manufacturing power and the material that Winston Churchill begged them to send over to England, and helped for that incredible landing of the greatest military landing in history at Normandy, when all the troops from England and Canada, United States, landed in France, moved towards Germany, eventually defeated Hitler, forced him into his bunker. He committed suicide, and they never could have done that without the help of the United States at the end and their manufacturing power. Could never have beaten the Japanese and dropped two nuclear bombs, Nagasaki in Japan. Horrible thing, but it ended the Second World War and ensured that a certain kind of fascism and tyranny would not continue. Then the United States was asked to rebuild Europe and helped with that. And then since then, the United States has been everybody's friend and helping democracies, but it's also deeply troubled. The United States has had many problems, but it's generally been regarded as a friend. Not anymore. What the Prime Minister said yesterday is, we middle powers, smaller countries, have to band together now and ensure that the great empires like China, like Russia, and the United States, which wants to become the emperor of the Western Hemisphere, ruler of Cuba, ruler of Venezuela, ruler of Greenland, annexing Canada, taking over Canada. It sees itself as having this moral mission now. It's called Manifest Destiny. It goes deep into the history of our country in the United States. This has returned now, here in 2026, and the United States isn't Canada's friend anymore. So this was stated very clearly by the Prime Minister yesterday, that we have to do something new. Well, I'd like you to first think of this question. What does the future of humanity look like when the United States is everybody's enemy? What happens to humanity's future when this idea of America first, this thing that Donald Trump ran on and got elected on, and many millions and millions of Americans still believe strongly in? It's not just the fanatics, it's not just the extremists, it's all the owners of the tech companies, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, you name it, any of the big tech companies. Do you know who they support? Even Tim Cook at Apple. Stephen Jobs, he's dead. I wonder if he would have done the same. He would have supported Donald Trump this way. I wonder, maybe. This is not about Donald Trump anymore. This is about something else. And that's something else that was in place since the Second World War and now has been ruptured. Where do we go from here? What was that thing that was so important in place? that seemed to keep the world together. And no world war, third one, happened. No atomic bomb was dropped since 1945. There almost was a third world war in 1962. It's called the Cuban Missile Crisis. Russian missiles were sitting in Cuba, directed towards North America. And thankfully, some very brave Russians, including the commander of one of the submarines that had the orders to shoot nuclear weapons at the Americas, he refused to follow those orders. And that's in part why there never was a nuclear attack in 1962, because there was a brave human being who said, I'm not going to fire nuclear missiles, even though they're telling me to in Moscow. It's true. Here we are in 2026. What are we going to do? Something has changed. What is it? And what do we do now? That's the thing I really want you to think about. Is this making sense? Do you feel like this is way too abstract, irrelevant, too out there, not relevant to your life sitting on a couch in the global classroom in Oshawa? If you do think it's irrelevant, it's okay to say so. You can say it now. Before we go over to someone who always has something to say. Hold on, let me just check with the ones who are, yes, go ahead, okay? It is relevant. It is relevant. Please go ahead. Yeah, sure.
I'm just saying, everybody thinks like that. They think like that. Right now, if everybody turned their back on the US, it's gonna go either or. Either everybody gonna be friends and
Yes.
cooperate with each other, or somebody wants to be the boss.
And who wants to be the boss?
China, one of the countries.
Put China question mark, okay? It's so interesting. If you look at the history of the world, the conflict between the East and the West is deeply embedded in the human story. I'm just going to point out something to you, okay? And then I'm going to just come to Ryan, okay? Let me just show you something, okay? That's important. Here we have the world. You can break the world into two hemispheres. Everything east of the Atlantic Ocean is the Eastern Hemisphere, and everything west is the Western Hemisphere. That's how we often do it. The Western Hemisphere and the Eastern Hemisphere. The East and the West. Once upon a time, with the Roman Empire that went all around the Mediterranean Sea, it was a great superpower of the world at that time. There was the Romans and there were the Chinese. And eventually they started to connect. And we had the great adventures of Marco Polo, and I won't get into this, but the conflict between the East and the West is a deep, deep conflict. And we might see this play out again. China rising, the great power of the East, and the Western world, Europe, United States, what are they going to do? The East and the West. So when you ask, or when we talk about who might fill that void, do we want China to come in now and be the dominant power in the world? The one making peace? The one that we rely on for some kind of stability? Ooh, we're going to a very dangerous place there. At any rate, everything's on the table now when the United States leaves the game. What do we do? Ryan?
I was just thinking, it's probably worth noting that, like, if we go back to history, I know you mentioned the Second World War, that, like, Operation Paperclip ensured that a lot of all the scientists who are over in Germany were brought into, like, the space programs at NASA. And, like, you know,
Sure.
the company,
SpaceX?
very tied to NASA. And even if, I don't remember what the conference was where he was out in Germany or whatever, when he saw him doing the salute, I think
Yeah,
Familiar, maybe not.
I can't remember. It was when.
But it kind of, you see a lot of, starting to see a lot of parallels there.
I know.
And it kind of makes you wonder what the end game for all of those technological advancements in America with space companies and all this stuff, and the billionaires that you mentioned.
Yes.
Really is, right?
It's pretty terrifying, but maybe comical when you have a person we considered an engineering genius named Elon Musk, once upon a time, standing on stage and giving the Nazi salute, and then saying afterwards, it's just he didn't mean it's not supposed to mean what it is. But Dmitry was not wrong last week when he said we got to be worried about fascism coming back in a new form. But let's at least identify a question or two that we need to ask, and then you're going to get into your groups and look at this idea of where are we going. Yeah, Ron?
Countries are ideas that are supported by geography, by legislator, and by war. Might have been Germany trying on fascism as faction some 70 years ago. It's going to be America now. It's going to be China some 70 years from now. I mean, this is all cyclical. It'll just keep happening. And I think that the underlying cause of these countries adopting fascism is having deep cultural insecurities that are caused after stirring up divisions within their own populace against their people, against class, against gender, against race, and all these are concepts too. They're just arbitrary means to suppress people from benefiting
Well,
over the powerful who really want to dominate society.
there's so much that we can explore today, but I want to make sure we stay really focused on this. We have a current event that just happened. We're talking about humanity's destiny. And today we're really looking at this idea of politics and government and power in terms of our future. And so I would like to frame a question right now, a really important question that we're going to write down on the board together, and then you're going to go into groups and try to answer that question, and then we're going to take it up, okay? But let me just review so we don't get too kind of all over the map, if you will, because I know this is there's so much to say about what has taken place. I just want to remind you that this is a class about your future. And when we look at a thing called humanity's destiny, yes, that's about humanity as a whole, but ultimately this class is building towards your vision for the future, your final assignment. And it's going to be about you and how you see things and how you see your life unfolding. And so that big picture stuff that we're looking at through this semester is gradually going to get narrower and narrower, and the ocean is going to become a little sort of river, and that's going to be your brain, your life, and you. All of this is going to have to be seen through the lens of how do you see your future? So politics, the question of who rules who, the questions of equality, human rights, the ability for humanity to live together universally in a highly connected world that has never been more connected and converged than ever, and ensure that we can have less war and more peace, more justice, less cruelty, more tolerance, less mistrust. It's going to be up to you to figure out how we're going to do this. So, what is the question that you think, based on what Mark Carney said yesterday, based on the little conversation we've had right now, what is the question that you feel you would like to, as small teams, answer for about 15 minutes, and then we will take up. I'm just curious to see. Not Ryan yet, because he's not registered, but Dimitri, are you still in the class, or you're technically? Okay, so then you can start this off. Dimitri, what would be, we're not going to write this yet, okay, Jaden? What's the question that we should be asking today?
I like the question that was asked actually from Mark Carney after the speech.
Yes?
Is whether or not he truly thinks it is a new world order that completely got,
Yes.
or is it just kind of a temporary thing? Perhaps in the primaries, they're probably going to elect lots of Democrats. They're going to block anything new that Trump does, and then the election is coming
Yes.
in 3 years, and tables might turn. We might become best friends again. Who knows? Right?
So the question would be, if we were to write it, it would be, is this really the end of the old world order? Is that, or is it something else? Jane, can you write that down? Is this really the end of the old world order? That's one question, okay, we could ask. He stood in front of the world and said, it's over. Now Canada and the middle powers, the smaller countries, need to come together and form their own power bloc so that when there's a discussion about what happens with the big issues in the world, like climate change, like terrorism, how about mental health? There's so many topics that are universal. China's at the table, Russia's at the table, United States is at the table, and he said if the middle powers don't come together and it's just little countries trying to strike separate deals with these big powers, they won't be at the table anymore. They will be on the menu. In other words, if you don't come together, strength in numbers, you're just going to get eaten in this dog-eat-dog world where it's just big empires, Russia, China, the United States, just looking out for themselves like the British Empire once did and became that colonial colossus around the world, taking everybody's resources. Spain did that in the Americas, and we have all the indigenous peoples here who paid the price for that. Portugal did that. France has done that. Germany has done that. Belgium has done that. They all did that in Africa. All the empires, stealing people's resources to feed themselves and have their ivory for their billiard balls and their piano keys. Is that the world we really want? But that seems to be where we're going. Form those middle powers so we can fight those colonial empires. But, well, what's the question? Besides what Dimitri said, I think he's asked a very good question. Ryan, what's the question? What is the end game? Okay, it's a good question. It's a big, broad, but what is the end game? Jordan, do you want to jump on your microphone and try a question?
Sure.
Good.
Will the U.S. be able to come back from this? Will they regain their respect on the world stage?
That's a great question, George. That's a great. Jaden, can you get? Will the United States be able to come back from this? When you have people in Greenland now organizing, saying, "Yankee, go home." You have the Danish parliamentarian using some very elegant language. This is the nature of political discourse today. He said, "Fuck off, United States." That's not really political discourse, but I'm afraid social media, Donald Trump, and all the other toxic stuff out there now is getting into the mouths of our politicians. The mayor of Minneapolis said to those ICE agents that were taking people off the street, "Fuck off, Donald Trump." We don't say that in this class. We go, we're going to stay high and elegant. But I identify this to you to tell you the level of rage there is growing around the world against the United States and how we're starting to sound as savage and as ugly as Donald Trump when he speaks. Minneapolis is in the United States. That's right. So let's try not to use that language, but Jordan is right in the sense that he's saying there's a lot of anger. Like the United States Can they come back from this? So, okay, hold your question. Go ahead. Or the savage who slanders them. Yes. We have to rise above all of that, Ryan. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Okay, so before we choose the question, I just want to get everybody into little teams and stay here for now. And I would only ask that I'm going to make sure this is easy. Jake, why don't you come back, okay? And you can come into the center here. We'll have a group here. One. Do you want to join at all? A team? Okay, so Ryan, come in here with Carol. Okay, the three of you are a team. Yeah. Ron can join it, so you'll be four, okay? And then Fatima, and what's your name? Zed. Zed? Yeah. Lovely. Okay, Fatima, Zed, and the four of you, could you form a little team here, okay? You can do it in the couches, but closer to the couches, okay? Closer to the couches. And the four of you, okay, Jake, you're a team, and why don't we say, just for the sake of balance, you put Dimitri over here, and we'll put, what's your name? Siri? You're coming over here, okay? And Amos, okay, Amos, all right? Just spread Dimitri around, okay? He's got, good, okay. Now, I'm going to give you choices, okay? Instead of choosing the one question, you have on the menu, here are the choices, okay? Is this really the end of the old world order? You can do that. What is the end game of this? Where are we going to after this such serious conflict with the United States and the rest of the world? Will the United States be able to come back from this? That's a great question, but I don't want to direct you either way. If you think there is another question to work on, go ahead and work on that. But at the end, when we take this up in about 15 minutes, I really look forward to see what your answers are, and we'll do an activity around the podium and the notes, okay? So please get started on your question, and what you're going to do is answer that question together, okay? And are you in this class? Hi, no, it starts at 2. Yeah. So come and join, would you come and join this group here, okay? Way to go. Okay, so does everybody feel clear on what they're trying to answer? Great, okay. I'm going to come back to the Cosmos. Let me do this, and I'm going to speak to the Cosmos. Okay, everybody, let me just bring this in. Okay. Jordan, did he actually bring a gold bar to Trump? I almost think he would, but but it's a good metaphor. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay. It was a plaque with a gold bar base. Was it really? Get out. Jordan, what did the plaque say? Do you know? The plaque with a gold bar base. Donald Trump loves gold. He has. Okay. Anyways, for all of you in the Cosmos right now, Jordan, Carson, Danvier, Jackson, Jasmine, Javon, Lovepreet. Oh, we got a good turnout. Patricia, Rajdeep, Zabera. I would like you to now, on your own, each try and answer one of the questions we just formed together. Do all of you feel you're clear on what I'm asking you to do, or do you want some clarification? Okay, so Jordan, you're good. Go ahead and start thinking about your answer. First, pick a question of the 3. Is this really the end of the world order? What is the end game? Will the United States be able to come back from this? You choose one of those, and you may want to choose your own question, Jordan. That's fair. It's a good question. But I want you then, after you think about this, I would like you to write in nice, clear English, as if you were doing a discussion post, what your answer is. and be as brief as you can in the live chat, okay? So go ahead and start that. And what I will do is I will just clarify here, okay? Yeah, so here are the questions, okay? I will write this. Here are the 3 questions. You choose one of them to answer and then write in nice, clear sentences your answer in the live chat. Okay? The questions. Here they come. Okay? You choose. Number 1. Is this really the end of the old world order? That's number 1, okay? You can choose that. What is the end game? You can choose that, or will the US be able to come back from this? There you go. So Jasmine, you choose one of those questions, okay, to answer, and then go ahead and answer it in the live chat. All right? Excellent. Okay, everyone, I'm here, and I'm going to just put this back. And I will show you a view of the activity going on right now. There we go. Great. So you can see everybody is starting to discuss. And how are we doing over there? Oh, that's just, yeah. Great. Okay. That's great. Great. Excellent. So everybody's working on this right now, and you should all be able to see the in-class participants. I'm at the podium. If you have any questions for me, go ahead and put it in the live chat now, and I can answer them for you. Okay? But if not, just keep working on your answer to one of those questions. That's it. There we go. There we go. Great. Yes, absolutely. Is it Sabera? Is that the correct pronunciation? Sabera? Let me just see. Sabera, is that the correct pronunciation I've just said? Sabera? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. You can answer more than one question if you would like. That's great. Once you've figured out what your answer is, put it into the live chat, okay? Because I will be saving the live chat as always, and that is posted in the class folder as a resource. So you can all think of the live chat as another place for good notes. Very good. What's that? I'd like you to be able to tell the class. However, you yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. You can answer more than one question if you like. It's come up in the live chat. You can answer all three. It's come up in the live chat. So, you know, because Jordan's question is an excellent one, the third one. Good. Sabera has now posted first. Let's see, Sabera. The United States has navigated difficult times in the past, and each instance saw ordinary citizens play their part in rebuilding the nation. That allows hope to be restored. A true comeback will not mean going back to the past, but instead learning lessons from past errors and rebuilding trust and investing in people. The U.S. can build a strong and positive future should it act and become willing to work together. Wow. But it's interesting, Sabera. If you would talk to a person who likes what's happening in the United States now, let's say a supporter, oh no, that's great, Sabera. But I want to point out something to you. There are millions and millions of people in the United States who like the direction the country is going in and don't think there is anything the United States has to come back from. They think the problem is us, not them. What do you think about that? They would think that we need to get used to the United States like this, not that they have anything to come back from. They may elect after Donald Trump somebody even more determined. This may just be the beginning. So, this is why it's really important to think about these questions in different perspectives and different lenses, Sabera. So we're ready for the future. We call this scenario planning, okay? I'm just going to put this in cap. Well, I don't want to put caps. Call this scenario planning, okay? Scenario planning. We have to be ready for anything. Be ready for anything. But you've written well, Sabera. Excellent. Patricia, good. Patricia's in there now. Okay, great. So we've got stuff coming in on the live chat now. There we go. Okay, 5 more minutes or 3 soon. We're gonna get into the best part. Great. Couple more minutes. And the toddler dictator. Yeah, well, good, Jordan. They tried to fundamentally change their laws to make sure this could never have remove the Supreme Court. Oh, wow. Good. And let me get it. They've caused so much damage worldwide, they need to give up a lot of future trade, all sort of reparations. Well, groveling for forgiveness. That's strong, but I like the fact that it's coming straight from Jordan Brown. Okay? That's good. Javon. Most of the world still uses the US dollar to conduct business meetings, making it hard to just kick them to the curb per se. However, their reputation and their hidden identity or their overall integrity and how the world truly sees them is taking a turn for the darker. There's just always strings attached. Yeah. Good, Javon. Great. Okay, so it's the third question is resonating. That's interesting. Okay. All right, one more minute, and then we're going to begin our take up. And we're going to take things up shortly. For those of you in the Cosmos, please be ready to jump on your microphones if you want your full 5 out of 5 today, and simply read out loud what you've written in the live chat. Okay, that will help the class to be more interactive, really, with the in-person students. But that's okay. If you don't want to do that and you want to stay with your muted microphone, that's fine. You just won't get the 5 out of 5. All right. So, okay, 30 seconds. Great. And then let's go over to here and see how we're doing there. Nice. We're just about ready for take up. That's our view. Okay. Excellent. Nice. Okay. So I'm going to join. I think I'm going to join the take up exactly. I think. Okay, we're going to start the take up, and I just want to get you ready for the take up. It's this microphone here, but we'll see. We're going to start the take up here, and why don't we try to stay here instead of going to the podium? Let's see if this can work. Okay. The idea is that there is going to be one student from each team who will come and sit here and sort of speak to everybody, because this is the microphone. Okay, I want to see, let's see if that works. If not, then one will come to the podium for now, but we'll try it from here, okay? And the idea is that today I've made it very easy for the in-person students. If anybody came to the couch, they immediately get 5 out of 5. That won't happen next week. Okay. What I'd like all of you to do who are here in person is just come to the couch next week. You won't get 5 out of 5 for that, but the scribe will still get 5 out of 5. Anybody on the camera will still get 5 out of 5. Anybody coming up to the podium will still get 5 out of 5. Okay? But I'm just trying to find a way to get everybody into the couch. I think it will work. So that means that if you come here and speak from your team, you're not going to get any extra marks for that. You've already gotten your participation marks, all right? And maybe you don't need to come here. You can just do it from there. The microphone will be good. So we're going to start in person, everybody, first, because the in-person people and their energy are the ones who drive this class. They are the nucleus. And you guys out in the cosmos, you're just the crazy electrons. Although electrons are really important, as we know. So who's going to be the first to speak from which team? Why don't we just go straight to here, just because I'm looking there right now. Which team was that? And who are you, the four there? Jaden and Pavan, right? P. Oh, P-A-W. Pawan. Wow. So many interesting names. Pawan. Lovely. And Lisa. No, you're Lisha? Lisha. Okay, Pawan. Lisha, Jaden, and Trinity. Whew. Wow. Interesting names there. Okay, so of the four of you, could one of you speak and tell us what your question was and what your answer is? And then we will put Jaden, after this is done, back on the notes, okay? But for now, go ahead. Either one of you. Will the U.S. be able to come back from this? Oh, old world order. Okay. Dimitri's question. Yeah, but okay. Dimitri's question. Yeah, go ahead. Yes. Yep. That's right. That's right. We'll have to pay for it. They're going to have to pay out of their pocket for refusing to follow me. Yes. Yes. Pay for it. Yeah. Yes. And let's remember, what is a trade deficit and a trade surplus? Do you want me to briefly explain, or do you just, when we say we have a trade deficit, it means that we're importing more than we're exporting. If we have a trade surplus, it means we're exporting more than we're importing. A surplus means we have more money because we're exporting, we're making more money, okay? So what's your answer to that question? Is this really the end of the old world order? Yeah. Canada does need the U.S. And Donald Trump made that crystal clear today in his speech when he said that Canada lives because of the U.S. This was his answer to Mark Carney. He literally said, talk about, anyway. So, but he's not wrong in a way, right? So it's not going to be the end of the old. This old order is going to carry on. We're going to keep going with the U.S. and trading, and we have to. And that what Mark Carney said is just a lot of talk. It's just rhetoric. The truth is nothing's going to change. Okay. Something's changed. What has changed, Dimitri?
The amount of trade already changed. The tariffs affected prices in the US, for example.
Yeah.
Reduced our dependency on the US.
Yeah. And we've seen Mark Carney making some pretty frequent trips recently to China, to India, to Qatar, and other places, so we can diversify and have other partners and not be reliant on the US anymore. So we can sell all those brilliant ideas. They're going to come out of your brain and Dimitri's brain and all the things you're going to make. And we're going to sell them not to the US anymore. We're going to sell them to India or Poland. So maybe the world order is changing, Jaden. Okay, good. I just want you to think about that, okay? Excellent answer. Trinity, do you want to say something?
We can create a big, alliance. And it's like more countries against one. Like, there's definitely going to be, I think it's the end of the old world order.
Well, I'm going to ask Trinity to do something because she's just said something very brave. Trinity, would you walk over to the smartboard, make a new card, and write down, Trinity said, quote, "We are fine without the US." Would you do that? Now, there's the statement that I'm not sure Jaden is going to agree with,
Yeah, we are fine with that.
but in terms of the destiny of humanity, you're saying, sure, we can divorce the United States. We're fine. We're fine with that. Go down to the bottom right hand, little vertical lines there, you see? Good, Trinity. Yeah, just exactly. And then just write down Trinity said, because that's wise. We are fine without the United States. Oh, man. For sure. I just want to make sure this stuff is important. It gets into the notes because that's what you're going to be looking at when you write your assignments and things, okay? But for sure, okay. Go ahead.
Okay. You want me to come to the podium?
Well, does this connect to the question about what we're trying to do, which is this the end, or do you want to give your answer?
I was also going to add something because I take recreation therapy. It's like I have this lens of like if something doesn't fit, we adjust.
Would you tell the other students what recreation therapy is? Because they may not know what you actually do and how interesting it is.
Well, in a nutshell, actually, recreation therapy is, I would say, empowering the body before you empower the mind. Because I was reading this other book called about how the body keeps score.
Yes.
And then you kind of have to move and be active and then have senses in your life and then have senses and have a sense of community and society. And that's like through art. Through
Sense of
animals.
community.
Yeah, and like through art, through animals, things like that. And it's also kind of empowering your body to be strong, to empower your mind. Like, because I guess I don't know. I'm not sure where I should start with this. And kind of
It's okay. It's okay.
Ideas to ideas.
I'm going to stop you for a second, only because there's so much there that you can say, but I want to stop and identify something you said, which is community is very important. Community. So the individual is always part of something bigger, and they can kind of work with, in that community, all sorts of different people.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, so recreation therapy is actually having a sense of achievement in a way of empowering yourself through others.
Okay. Oh, through others.
Yeah, or through yourself as well, but also you need that kind of guide sometime to actually help you.
Well, you know about the United States, it was once said by no less than Alexis de Tocqueville. He was a French philosopher, researcher, and journalist. And in the 1800s, just after the United States became the United States, not too long after, he went on a long trip to the United States, and he wrote a book called Democracy in America. Very important book. And you know what he said about the United States? He said, here, their doctrine is the doctrine of self-interest. And this is good. It's a good thing when the individual doesn't really think about others and just cares about their own personal achievement, because in that you get great inventions. Well, what is the United States going to do with this doctrine of self-interest if nobody wants to be their friend anymore? What if you choose a direction where all that matters is I'm first, and you become very wealthy, very powerful, with all the weapons of mass destruction, all the money, all the algorithms, all the quantum bits that you could have, all the technology. And in the end, you have that, but where's your community? What happened to everybody who loved the Statue of Liberty, who believed that the United States represented something? What happens then? So this question of what will happen to the United States and will they ever recover is a wonderful question, because it comes back to this idea fundamentally of, with humanity's destiny, this doctrine of self-interest that led to the United States becoming the dominant power in the world, culturally, militarily, economically. Is that doctrine of self-interest in need of some renovation if we're going to go forwards? Or should we all bend and become more self-interested ourselves? Should we become more like the America First supporters and make sure that we are their friends? That's why what happens to the United States and what will happen in the next 50 to 100 years matters to humanity, because the idea of self-interest is in all of us, isn't it? How do you resolve that inside your own heart? I want it. I want to make and do as much as I want, and I want to be free to do that, and I don't want any law. I don't want any government. I don't want anybody standing in my way for my own personal satisfaction or achievement. If I want to build these big towers everywhere on golf courses and in Manhattan and call them the Trump Towers, and I'm going to steal money to do that and abuse people and fire people, who cares? I'm going to have a tower. And I love that tower. It's so big. I'm so powerful and so wealthy. But then you've lost your friends. Do you want to be that kind of person? Do human beings want to be that? Just asking. But our destiny. Ron?
What do you get out of it?
What do you love? What do you get out of it? Exactly.
You're going to die. Those buildings,
What do you get out of it?
the golf courses, the alimony, all that shit, you're going to die. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. Doesn't matter.
I would
So
say-
It doesn't matter. So then, you know what the question, the critical word is to write down here? Where do I find, as an individual, my value? What is value? What exactly is value in my life?
Your self-worth.
If you think about that question, you're going to start to understand something about humanity's destiny. Individual value. Yes. Go on. Yes. Yes.
The guilt gets removed from the people, then there will be more harm, more evil. And because of the media that we are in, everything is connected and more guilt is getting removed from the world.
Absolutely. Think about these big questions as we look at them today, these three great questions that Dimitri, Jordan, and Ryan have helped us to ask. But I'm trying to take this now and go a little bigger into humanity's destiny, to understand what does this mean for our collective future. If or not the United States will be replaced, we don't know. But what does that mean for humanity's destiny going forwards? I think it leads to the question of where do we humans find our value? In financial purposes, in becoming wealthy, in community, in personal achievement? These are big questions to ask. Let's keep going, okay, and see where else we can be in terms of humanity's destiny as we answer these questions, okay? So we had excellent Jaden and that group. Let's go over here. Elizabeth has her hand up. Elizabeth, please go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
I was thinking that what a person, not humanity necessarily, what a person values changes over time. And based on stories, like anecdotal things I've heard, that at near the end of someone's life, or when they really feel like they found it, it's usually something to do with community. But that isn't always what people strive for to begin with, which means you're striving for stuff like self-interest.
Yes, yeah.
Power, knowledge, any other thing. And then how that translates into humanity as a whole is really hard to say because it would also change depending on culture to culture and time period and everything.
Try and answer it. How does that translate to humanity as a whole? When you've identified something really interesting, it seems to be that in most humans, as they get to their end of their life and come to the end, that they start to kind of think more about humanity and less about acquisition.
Whatever it is, whatever the main value is, one of the only conditions that it can't lead to self-destruction. Because if it leads, then we're just dead, right? So anything that leads to self-destruction is kind of out of the question. So probably not self-interest, because if everyone did that, then we would all probably die. Well, maybe not. And then in terms of community, in theory, in a perfect world, if every single person cared about community, then we'd all be fine. But that's
Yeah, that's
not really.
kind of utopian.
And then power, that would probably self-destruction. Knowledge, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I think there are a bunch of other things. Right? So,
Well, I have a feeling that you're going to be writing, if you were supposed to do a discussion post today, you would write something quite profound, because I saw last week you were writing a lot. That's great. That's great. Okay, you are putting some good things, but you don't have to write anything. But you can if you want, just for the sake of, inspiring some of the other students, but you don't have to this week, okay? So let's keep going, okay, and seeing who else tackled these questions. And why don't we move away from the United States for the moment, even though it has been a class today so much about this, because that's what the current event was about in Davos, which is the world is beginning to deal with the United States in a much different way. But this is humanity's destiny. It's bigger than the United States, always. So, what about this idea of what is the end game? That's a big, broad question, okay? A big, broad question, but I hope that what I'm about to say, as we come to the conclusion of today's class, won't depress you. It shouldn't. But I'm going to ask you to try and do a little thought experiment, mental representation in your brain, and think about yourself near the end of your life. Jump ahead 70 or 80 years. And that's not something young people generally like to do. It can be kind of difficult and depressing, okay? It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be at all, okay? So just try and use your imagination and begin to put yourself into this frame of mind of, well, what is my end game? In your final assignment, you're going to have a chance to think about the vision of the future, but you can also make it very personal and do a life plan, a vision of your own future, not just our collective future. You will have that choice. So Ryan's question is not a bad question to ask. It's very big, but now that I frame it more personally, is anybody prepared to actually, off the top of their feet, their toes, maybe even come up to the podium right now and tell us what is your end game? Now, this is not easy. This is putting, look at that, Ron. He always says it. Let's do it. Ron, come on over here, okay? What is Ron's end game? Okay, this is very important stuff. Now, I'm going to just come back to here so we have Ron nice and clear for everybody. And just, Ron, let's come here. Let's have this behind you. Let's make sure that Ron will be recorded. And that will come. There's a bit of latency on YouTube. So you'll see Ron. Everybody will see. So Ron, what's your end game?
I'll probably lose a bunch of things. Perhaps in the way of opportunities due to my age. Perhaps in the way of having regrets that I haven't done, enough that I should have at a certain point. But my end game ideally is to take those regrets and accept it on those terms, that I've lived enough of a life that people could talk about. They don't necessarily have to. And then it'll be the end and I'll be fine with it. And, the reason why I came up on the podium just to, air this out.
Courage. This is courage.
And rather, courage or stupidity, there's a fine line between it. But it's more so, I've just been having a lot of time thinking this over. Don't be worried, over a period of years.
Good.
Yeah.
You've been
You look
thinking.
at yourself, you see yourself in the mirror, you notice a little stubble that wasn't there yesterday. And, you start to think, what's 50 going to look like? What's 60 going to look like? Forget about 70. I don't want to get to 70. I'll look ugly by then. But
No, you won't. I'm getting there. I'll be 70 in 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll-
70
you'll-
is the new 50.
You'll be all right, Lon.
Yeah, affordable.
Yeah. But my end game is just to accept it, whatever it is. Because I'll have to. I'll have to. I'll be dead.
Where's the value?
What?
Where was the value in your life?
Well,
Where was the value?
my
Where
friend
was the
Ryan-
value?
my friend Ryan would say, oh, my friend Ron, he wanted to be a famous rock star, leading a group or whatever, writing songs, having groupies, and all that. And sure, but that's just arbitrary. Those are just ideas. They don't mean anything to me. They don't measure my happiness. I don't wake up in the morning thinking about that. I just have to do my assignments, and catch up on some failed courses, and it's pretty much it.
And how important are people to you in this value? Is it just about you, or do you like kind of being with people?
Do I like being with people? It depends on the person, but generally, yeah.
Pretty human thing, even if we think it isn't. And do you like being with people in person, or would you rather it be mediated by some screen or device?
Oh, definitely not.
No, you want the flesh and
No,
blood.
because
experience.
when I look at a person, I see myself in them in some way. Like if I went through the experiences they did, I turn out like them. So, I don't mind being with people at all. If I have a problem with someone, it's a reflection of myself too, isn't it?
Wow. So you take responsibility in yourself, and it's not other people causing problems.
I don't like this.
You're the one who has to change, not the rest of the world. You got to change yourself first. Like Socrates said, change yourself, understand yourself, then you're ready to take on the world. Something like that.
Can I share mine? Or do you not want to hear me speak?
No, everybody. I want
I
to make sure
don't.
Ron has had his chance, and I want to make sure everybody understands what we're doing here, which is humanity's destiny, ultimately is about your destiny, your human destiny. We're building towards that in this class. All of these big things have to come down eventually into you and how you see your future. This is very important. Otherwise, this class will not be relevant. It will be too abstract. It has to be relevant to you, ultimately, and what you're going to do in your future. Make sense? Okay. Anything else, Ron, before
No,
you?
no.
Well, listen,
right.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
There's a lot of rust down
Okay.
there, you know? I think someone should get to that.
I know rust is just oxidation or something. So you can look at rust as ugly, or you can sing what Leonard Cohen sang, Anthem, and only where there's a crack can the light get in. Any of you know that wonderful song? Did he? Yeah. It's a beautiful song. It comes Leonard Cohen. You should see sometime, just capture that beautiful song. You can see the video online. Talks about the dark age is coming, and he said, keep ringing the bell as long as the bell can be rung. Only where there's a crack in everything. There is an absolute crack in everything, but it's only where there's a crack can the light get in. So we need our cracks. We need lots of them. We're not machines.
I'm so eager.
Okay, well, hold on a second, and then you can come up, okay? I just want to make sure everybody, because I also want to make sure everyone has a chance, and I don't want to default to one or two students, okay, in the class, although I'm tempted to with you, because you have a lot to say.
Yeah.
I know you do, but I have to be careful, okay? So online, Jordan, finally, could you read us what you wrote in the live chat? This definitely assures you get your 5 out of 5.
Sure.
Go.
So yeah, I feel like it's a little emotional, but I don't know. I think the only way the U.S. could regain its respect in the world would be, first and foremost, they need to prosecute every single person that enabled Trump, seize all of the money he fraudulently got from these crooked deals. Um, they need to fundamentally change their laws to make sure this can never happen again. So remove the Supreme Court judges and the Congress people that essentially just gave up their power to Trump and the executive branch. And at minimum, like worldwide, they need to get out of Venezuela, need to stop with all of this talk of taking over countries. Economically, they've caused so much damage worldwide. They need to give up a lot in future trade negotiations, almost as a sort of reparations for what he has cost everyone. And yeah, they should be groveling, like begging for forgiveness from the rest of the world. It's
Well, we could clap, but just remember, Ryan was saying you got to watch it. Sometimes our reaction could be even stronger than the original problem. And that's what happened in the French Revolution. That's a story of French Revolution. Democracy came, but then with a vengeance, all those who participated in the monarchy they had their heads cut off very fast. The revenge was even worse. We have to be careful.
well, personally for me, I wouldn't necessarily think of like an assassination or like execution or anything, but like public shaming of Trump and have him walk down the streets, let people throw tomatoes at him.
No, but let's remember what Nelson Mandela did when he came out of prison in South Africa, and he could have gone after all the white people, but he didn't. He created national reconciliation. It's
Yeah,
hard.
again,
It's
it's an
hard.
emotional response.
Yeah, no, but it's thank you for reading it, and I want to thank you all for this. I want to give you a chance, okay? As I said I would. I just want to make sure everyone else has had their chance. We're 5 minutes away from landing, from coming back to Earth in this class. I hope you've seen today that what this class really can be when we come together and we share, and the technology's working, and I'm able to provide some sort of lectures through the conversation. And then we have these great notes that you've done, Jaden. We'll get to those later. So finally, why don't you come up, okay? And keep it to 3 minutes, okay? To keep time, all right? 3 minutes. Tell us what you think we need to hear. Go ahead.
Well, my end game was to help people see love in the simplest way. Letting them see the cracks and letting the light come in is letting your senses be awakened, kind of thing, right? I used to live in like a neighborhood where we had birds and they would sing every morning, and it sounded like they're singing love to each other, like love, 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 like when they would chirp back and forth. And that was just like, in a good humanity world, that's what it would look like. You know, people just waking up and having gratitude and being happy. And my end goal is to hopefully get people back on their feet after something difficult. That's what recreation therapy kind of is. Kind of when you need it. Yeah. When you need it. It's like, you know, going off work or ending a relationship or another family issue. It's kind of like you go down a rabbit hole and then you don't know how to get out. It's like you fall down and then you're confused, you don't know where to go, and then you go through the stages of growth, insight, resilience, clarity. It's kind of like those steps.
The end game is clarity?
Yes. So you can see better. So the light can come in.
The light can come, so you're not blind.
But because like the first step is you're confused. Kind of like when you feel hurt and devastated, and you like, I actually have a pet rabbit, so he was actually my inspiration. Named Chestnut.
Yes.
And I adopted him from the Royal Winter Fair, and I kind of thought I'd had this idea of turning him into like a therapy rabbit. So he's like, I'm kind of developing him to be like a mascot, kind of. I know I have a lot of ideas.
So finally, where does money fit into all of this? Don't you want to make enough money to have a nice place to live, a car, you know, travel, lots of kids, you know, where's money in all of this?
And that's exactly sometimes the issue, because if you're like me, I'm single, I am low income, I just scrape by with paying rent and then paying my bills, and then sometimes I don't have enough to go eat out or anything like that.
So money should be important to you.
Well, I make enough to get by, but I don't like overwork myself to death. Like sometimes I used to, like back in the day when I used to do event security, where like the shifts are like 24 hours sometimes. Mm-hmm. But now I kind of don't do that anymore and just have more of a, I don't know what you call it, peaceful way of living.
Would you say you're a happy human?
Well, I've gone through, I've gone through the rabbit hole myself, and then finding my way out is something to be happy about.
Yeah.
You know? And then there's some still hiccups along the way, but you manage to subside them and you manage to acknowledge them, and then you manage to adapt.
Yeah. You manage to adapt.
Yeah. And then, sorry. I know I'm not a very good public speaker when I say a lot of ums.
Well, you've got the courage and you are expressing some very important things. And we have a record of this for people to watch later to learn from. Mm-hmm. So let's stop for now. First, I want to thank you. Mm-hmm. I'm grateful for you coming up and doing this, as Ron did and any other student would do, to be able to show us your humanity.
Yeah, and I think that's what that end game for humanity after the rabbit hole steps would be better humanity for everyone. Because people just get lost and they can't find their way, and, you know, they get hurt and they hurt others, and, you know, it takes them a while to reverse that damage. Cool.
Well, we're going to work on that answer to these questions in the coming weeks as we look at other forces. But which it's
Angelique.
Angelique. Thank you, Angelique, very much. Okay. Thank you. We'll return to that. Okay. So for all of you optimists, pessimists, realists, and others today, you have all received your 5 out of 5 by coming to the couches. So you don't need to post anything. I'm going to put 5 for everyone, but that's not going to continue next week. And next week, we'll see what we're going to do. It's going to be one of those topics. What would you like me to bring to the class next week of these topics? Anything you have a burning desire to do, I can do it. I always love doing the next big thing, but there's lots of other things. You can leave it with me to think about, okay? Okay, so Cosmos, I will save all of this. I can review this next week. For those of you in the Cosmos, if you did not share your audio at all, you have to do your work on the discussion board. But Jordan, thank you. You've received your 5 out of 5 and then some. See you next week, guys. Okay. Jaden.
I don't think I ever met you face to face. Nice to meet
Yeah.
you.
You were here last week, though, weren't you?
I was. I don't know if I think
Yeah. Oh, I somehow feel you did, but good stuff. You got your 5. Well, everybody did. So. Not this week. Not this week. You're good. Everybody here is good. Don't have to do anything. You did your participation. Okay.
Did you like my rabbit thing? Did you like my rabbit?
Chestnut.
Yeah, I made a chestnut.
Yeah. Very
Because
nice.
he kind of stands and he's got a big chest. But then when I also asked my niece what I should call him, he's got a little bit of brown.
Yeah.
Kind of like chestnut brown.
Yeah.
And
Lovely.
he's also male.
Very good. All right. Well, let me just get this done. But that's good. You got your. Well, of course, I really appreciate you being able to talk about the rabbit and the rabbit hole.
That's the thing.
Okay, so there's a rabbit, but at the end of the rabbit hole is the rabbit,
And
right? There's a nice rabbit at the end of the rabbit hole.
I also developed him in so many ways because I originally went to this art show. You got to do Blue Blanche.
I used to, when it was starting out, but it's been so cold when I go because it's late, and so my wife and I, we decided not to. But have you been to the recent one?
I have.
Yeah.
Actually, and that's what kind of inspired a lot.
Okay, hold on 2 seconds. Yes.
I have a question for the whole course. Is it going to be more like philosophy based or political based?
Well, there's everything. I mean, if you look at the rundown of topics.
Yeah, because
Okay, so we're going to be doing sustainability. We're going to be doing next big thing is technology and engineering. But there's a strong philosophical foundation. It's in every class because you can't talk about the future without getting philosophical, right? So you can expect that in every class there's going to be some philosophy.
okay. For me, philosophy is like more on top than political side of things.
Is more.
More important than
Yeah.
political side of things.
Today was politics because of a current event, okay? But next week and the others will not be politics. It's other. See you. Yeah. Take care. Yeah. You see the topics. There's sustainability is about the environment. Together on Earth is about freedom, science and religion. New World is space exploration. The human brain is about neuroscience. So but underneath it all is the meaning of life and humanity, which is philosophical. Okay. All right. Good. Great.
Cute
Okay.
little pugs.
So
And
sure.
they have to do a discussion.
No. If you came today and you were on the couch or near the couch, you got your 5 out of 5. That was, but you won't get that next week. You'll have to do more work next week. Okay.
And then will we have assignments
The
next
co-
week?
the first assignment is coming on February the 17th. I have to. I'll be telling you about that next week. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. See you. Hold on, Angelique, just and then I'll come back to you. Yes. About
value.
the value.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you know the value, like the people who love us, whenever we sound, they want to see us happy, and whenever they see us, they happy. That's the value for me. And
Sure.
at the end, when I think and I know I do everything is so good, I do not hurt anyone, and for my it is not my attention I hurt someone. So that's my value. When at the end I know that I'm a very good person. Even
Sure.
I'm trying to become a very good person. I
Yeah.
do not hurt anyone. And at the end, when people say that, that's the value for me. At the end, when the people know about that the person is very good, it's stand up for the people around you. It's stand up for the people who really
Yeah.
want someone in their life, and the person who gave reaction to them. That thing is the value for me. When you know you are capable to give direction to someone, because there are so many people who do not capable to think about out of the box.
They think about
Out of the box.
out of the box. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
they are hovering or wandering around the circle. They are not like jump out from the box or the circle. They are just putting the question where I am wrong. But the thing is that a person who really capable to think about the different perspectives, like the indecision of the life,
Yes.
whenever they are in the the relationship. Because
Yes.
in current scenario, there are many youngsters and the people who choose someone who is really capable and they are not a very good partners.
Yes.
So in that certain time, the value of the person is very very important for me. If you know that the person in front of you, like your partner,
Yes.
really value your time, your
Yes.
efforts, and everything. They understand even you are working so hard.
Yes.
And you don't have the time. Still, you get 5 minutes for them or him or her.
Yeah.
That's the value for me. When they really put the effort to make you happy, to make you understand, and make you feel better,
Well put.
that's the value for me.
Does that come at all from your faith, like Sikhism, right? Because you're Sikh, right?
Yeah.
It's experience.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not experienced. Like, my father, my mother, both are like very
Yeah, yeah,
human being,
yeah.
and they have very good heart. So that's the reason I know the value. I know that when you are really very close to people, put fingers on you, the people how feel. I know that because that's the time where the value is
Yeah.
actually you put everything to the person, and then again they put the finger on you. That nothing values. For me, like I know that the person feels like how they will feel that.
Yes.
So that's the reason, and then because my father did really very good for everyone for the good.
Let me make a note. What's your name again? It's Arshdeep. Are you Arshdeep? Yeah. Next class, you should tell this to the class if you can. Okay, Arshdeep. I'm gonna make a note. Okay, for review next week. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Good. Yeah.
About love.
Yes.
Just one quote. Like, people have no enemies. Basically, just one quote for me. I just love this quote. People have no enemies,
Yes.
and love is everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one quote. I love it.
Yes.
About the love.
Where does that quote come from? Do you know?
Yeah.
Who said that? Do you know?
Basically, it's like a series something.
Yeah.
It's an anime. So I watch a lot of like good animes, like
Yeah,
good life
yeah.
basically.
That's good.
Like keep telling me like how's life going, how's
Yeah.
the experience of love, how to like treat people well,
Yeah.
like that. That's one quote I love. That love is everywhere, and the people have no enemies.
Well, maybe you can tell us that next week. Humanity's destiny is based on these kinds of ideas. Very important. Okay.
I want to share. I'm a writer, so
You're right.
I'm a writer.
Oh, you are. You like to write. Very good.
The lines from my heart, like wealthy people from the in the crowd, they said, sorry, he said, like I lost everything, and from the beggar, like the beggar just sat beside him and said that you didn't lose anything. You actually lost the precious life every second, and you are so self you lost everything because the things are more precious for you. The life is more precious
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing the wealthy people
That's right.
thinks that
The things are
the
more
materialistic
important.
things are more important.
Yeah,
But
they're not.
for
No.
the
The
beggar,
things.
food, the oxygen, the water is main thing.
Hmm.
That's the line, and it's really good. Actually, I don't have my
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
me. I'm gonna send to you. Next time I will.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
I have one more. I have this one more about the value basically.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
it's a thing like the person beside you in the dark room. Like if they feel safe,
that's your value basically in a dark
In a
room.
dark room, in a dark room, they feel safe.
If you feel safe
Yeah,
inside
yeah,
with two people, that's your value in the life. You feel very like a
yeah.
kind of like a what kind of sense? Not protector, but like a
But it's trust. It's also
trust,
trust. There's deep
or
trust.
love or
You feel
blind
safe
trust.
in a dark place
It's
with others. That's a nice line. I like that. Yeah. Thank you. We'll see you next week. Okay? Yeah, for sure. Okay,
Actually,
Angelique.
the
Yes.
North York location had a bunch of these signs.
Nuit Blanche? Is this Nuit Blanche still?
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
yeah.
They had a bunch of these signs that were
Yeah.
all like bylaws, but they're written like poetically, so they're like universal. Because
Uh-huh.
what Nuit
Right,
Blanche is it opens your mind to thinking different ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to grab this sign, thinking it was actually good for recreation therapy. Following these signs shall provide
potential
escapes.
escapes.
And then in terms of recreation therapy, and then going down a rabbit hole,
Yeah.
I had Chestnut put signs like I have like illustrations. I put
Mm.
Chestnut having signs of like